In this Diablo 2 Resurrected build guide, we'll be covering the Fury Werewolf Druid build. This is an endgame Druid build that can get you through Nightmare and even Hell difficulty in Diablo 2 Resurrected. If you're looking for an endgame shapeshifting Druid build, then this guide is for you. While playing the Fury Werewolf Druid in Diablo 2 Resurrected, you'll shapeshift into a powerful werewolf that annihilates its enemies in melee combat. You'll be using the Fury skill as your main way of dealing damage, Feral Rage to buff yourself. This Diablo 2 Druid build is intended to be used for Nightmare and Hell difficulties starting around level 40. You can start the game with this build, but I personally recommend you use our Fire Elementalist build instead, and then respec into this one. If you're already playing and want to respec into this build though, the easiest way to do it is by claiming the Den of Evil reward from Akara at the Rogue encampment. You'll get 3 respecs, 1 for each difficulty, and you'll need to be on the same difficulty to reclaim them. Like most builds in Diablo 2 Resurrected, our stats distribution will focus on assigning enough points into Strength and Dexterity to meet equipment requirements, and then assigning everything else into Vitality to gain as much life as possible. Having a Hellfire Torch and an Annihilus will greatly reduce your stat investment into Strength. These unique charms provide between plus 10 to 20 to all attributes and plus 10 to 20 to all elemental resistances. Having both in your inventory will save you between 20 and 40 stat points that you can spend into Vitality, greatly increasing your health pool. The additional passive resistances will also allow you to depend less on plus all resistance equipment, opening up more options. If you don't have a Hellfire Torch or an Annihilus yet, I strongly recommend that you get them as soon as you can. Perfect rolled ones are very expensive, but you can get bad rolled ones for very affordable prices. Make sure to get a low roll when you're starting off, and then upgrade it when you have enough money. The Fury Werewolf Druid focuses on the shapeshifting tree, but you'll also need to spend some points into the summoning tree. You'll use the following skills when playing this Diablo 2 Resurrected Druid build. Werewolf. This skill transforms you into a werewolf, changing your appearance and greatly increasing your life, attack rating, and attack speed. Since your attack skills, Fury and Feral Rage, can only be used while transformed, you'll need to keep the transformation at all times. Lycanthropy. This skill passively increases your maximum life as well as your transformation time. Since this is a melee build, the extra life is mandatory to survive big engagements. Fury. This skill allows you to attack with increased damage and attack rating either to multiple adjacent targets or to one target multiple times. The increased attack rating is essential for this build to make sure you are hitting enemies. Feral Rage. This skill allows you to perform a single target attack with bonus attack rating and damage. You'll earn a buff charge each time you hit an enemy that provides life leech and increased velocity. The first hit creates a small orbiting red orb, and each consequent hit after that will make the orb bigger and refresh the timer duration. If you don't hit an enemy for 20 seconds, the orb will wear off and you'll have to start over again. The more hits you successfully land, the more life you will steal and the faster you become. The idea with this build is to first build up a couple of feral charges to acquire velocity and life leech, and then switch into Fury to maximize your damage output. Heart of Wolverine. This skill summons a spirit that increases the attack rating and damage of your party, making it a perfect match for this build. Some people like to run Oak Sage instead of Heart of Wolverine, but since you can recover life by hitting enemies, attack rating is more important than life in this case. Summon Grizzly. Optional. I personally like to spend 1 point here because the bear does a great job as a meat shield on the battlefield. Since this guide begins at level 40, you'll want to first focus on your Fury, Werewolf, and Lycanthropy, and then work towards completing Heart of Wolverine and Feral Rage. You should have around 43 skill points at level 40, 39 from levels, and 4 from quests. You should have your skills placed in the following manner. At level 90, you should have 101 skill points to distribute, 89 from levels and 12 from quests, and they should look like this. It's important to note that since this is a melee build, you'll need to have a decent amount of equipment to make it viable in endgame. This is because your damage and chance to hit will highly depend on your equipment instead of your skill points. Two-handed weapons are overall the best choice for this build, as they'll provide a higher amount of damage per strike, but some sword and shield combinations are good as well. You'll first want to focus on getting a good weapon that has high damage and attack speed, and then focus on the rest of your equipment. When starting off, you'll obviously have less gear, so here are some cheap rune words and unique items that you can use while you search for better gear. First up are helmets, and the first one is the Lore rune word. This helmet provides +1 to all skills, as well as plus 30% lightning resistance. You can farm the runes by completing Nightmare Countess. The second one is uniques. Druid Pelt uniques such as Surbus's Bite and Spirit Keeper are great options as they provide plus skills and great stats. When it comes to weapons, you have a few options, and the first one is the Rib Cracker unique. This weapon deals a very high amount of damage and also greatly boosts your defense, making it the best cheap alternative for this build. Crescent Moon rune word. This is a cheap rune word alternative for when you are reaching early hell. Kingslayer Runeword. This is another good alternative that provides great damage, attack rating, crushing blow, and open wounds. The runes needed to craft both Crescent Moon and Kingslayer can be farmed from the Countess on Hell difficulty. When it comes to armor, the Stealth Runeword is by far the best early armor you can get. The 25% faster cast rate is nice, while the poison resistance and faster hit recovery provides more survivability. The other option is the Duress Runeword. This armor provides a lot of defense and resistances, as well as cold damage, crushing blow, and open wounds. For gloves and belt, you want to find something that have life and resistances on them. For boots, you want to search for faster run walk speed, as well as life and resistances. For rings, you want to search for those that have life, stats, and resistances. Try to find an amulet that provides stats, health, resistances, or plus druid skills, or plus shapeshifting skills. For charms, you'll mainly want to look for plus life, plus resistances, plus attack rating, plus damage, and plus shapeshifting skills. Once you are reaching max level, you'll want to start searching for the following equipment to complete your character. For helmet, you'll want Jalal's Mane, which is a unique. This is the best helmet for this build. It provides plus 2 to druid skills, plus 2 to shapeshifting skills, as well as strength and resistances. Make sure to get this one as soon as you can. When it comes to weapons, there are a couple of different options, and it'll depend on your preference and economy. The first one is the Grief Runeword and Storm Shield. The Grief weapon deals an amazing amount of damage, and the Storm Shield will provide you a lot of resistances, as well as a massive 35% damage reduction. I highly recommend you craft Grief on the Phase 1 blade. The second option is the Death Runeword. This weapon provides massive damage, deadly strike, and crushing blow. It also has a chance to cast Glacial Spike, making it great for crowds of enemies. You want to make this on an Ethereal Glorious Axe or Champion Axe due to the Indestructible mod. The last option is the Breath of Dying Runeword. This weapon provides a massive amount of damage and attack speed in combination with Life Leech and Mana Leech. This is one of the most expensive weapons in the game, so make sure to craft it on an ethereal weapon to maximize its damage. For armor, you have a couple of options, and the first is the Fortitude Runeword. This armor not only provides a massive amount of defense and resistances, but also greatly increases your damage. The other option is the Chains of Honor Runeword. This armor is great for boosting your defense, provides plus 2 to all skills, and increases your damage against demons and undead enemies. When it comes to gloves, you have two options, and the first is the Laying of Hands unique. These gloves greatly increase your fire resistance and provide a massive damage bonus against demons. The other option is Dracul's Grasp unique. These gloves have a chance to cast Life Tap, providing you an insane amount of Life Leech. For belt, you want Verdungo's Hardy Cord unique. This belt provides a massive amount of damage reduction as well as vitality, greatly increasing your survivability. For boots, you want Gore Rider unique. These boots provide plus 30% faster run walk as well as open wounds, crushing blow, and deadly strike, making them the best option for this build. For rings, you want 1x Bolkathus Wedding Band unique. This ring provides plus 1 to all skills as well as a lot of life. For the other ring, you want the Ravenfrost unique. This ring prevents you from getting frozen, which is very important to this build. If you can afford a Cham rune, you can insert it on your helmet and use an additional Bolkathos Wedding Band instead. For amulet, you can use either the High Lord's Wrath unique. This amulet provides plus 1 to all skills as well as deadly strike and lightning resistance. Or you can use Mara's Kaleidoscope unique. This amulet provides plus 2 to all skills as well as 20 to 30 to all resistances and plus 5 to all attributes. For charms, you mainly want to look for life, resistances, attack rating, damage, and shapeshifting skills. When it comes to mercenaries, you want to get the Act 2 Holy Freeze or Might Mercenary from Act 2 Nightmare for this build. The Holy Freeze Aura is great for dealing with large crowds of enemies, while the Might Aura will greatly increase your damage. When it comes to equipment, the best weapon is the Obedience Runeword. For armor, you want to get the Fortitude Runeword, and for the helmet, Andari's Visage. Final tips. Make sure to periodically use your Feral Rage to keep the buff active. This will help you navigate through the map faster and greatly increase your life leech. Remember to play aggressively and keep hitting your enemies when your health is low. This build heavily relies on life leech, and you'll probably be fine as long as you keep attacking. Make sure to carry mana potions. You might encounter mana burn enemies and you won't be able to attack without mana. Make sure to keep on the lookout for melee mods such as Crushing Blow, Deadly Strike, and Open Wounds when trying to upgrade your equipment. You might be used to overlooking them when not playing a melee build, but in this case they are a must. Stay tuned for more Diablo 2 build guides, and be sure to check out our Diablo 2 Resurrected wiki if you have more questions about the game. What did you guys think of our Druid shapeshifting build? Are you guys playing a werewolf or a werebearer? Let us know in the comments below.